Have you heard people talking about product security and wondered what the heck it is? I'm Matt, and I'm the director of product security at a mid-sized software company that sells on-premises and cloud-based software. Today, we're talking about product security and its relation to application security. First, a caveat. Product security does not have a commonly accepted definition. Everything from this point forward is my take on product security, and it may not align with yours. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below, and we can all learn from each other. If this type of content is interesting to you, or you have ideas for content you would like to see, leave a comment below, like, and subscribe. So, what is product security? I like to think about it as all of the components required to secure a product. Let's break that down a bit more. If I wanted to protect a cloud-based software product, what would I need to be able to do that? The first thing a lot of folks think about is security testing and analysis. Has the application undergone static analysis? Are there hotspots in the code that are able to be exploited? Do we know the composition of the application, as in what third-party libraries are used within the product? Do those libraries have vulnerabilities, and are they exploitable? Since this is a cloud-based application, there's an infrastructure component as well. Are we using infrastructure as code? Have we scanned that infrastructure as code for any security misconfigurations? All of these questions so far can be answered simply by scanning the code at rest. There's more testing and analysis that can be done against running code. Dynamic analysis would be the automated approach to testing running code, and some form of human testing would be the next logical step. This is where penetration testing and bug bounty come into play. Real humans finding real vulnerabilities. Once we have an understanding of the vulnerabilities that have been discovered within the application, what do we do next? If you're thinking fix them, you're spot on. Vulnerability management is a key part of product security. Fixing vulnerabilities is not the only part of vulnerability management, though. There's vulnerability disclosure, management of security advisories, and several other pillars. Another domain that ends up feeding into the vulnerability management process is incident response. Have you heard the term PSIRT? It stands for Product Security Incident Response Team. The PSIRT is the group responsible for managing and responding to vulnerabilities, incidents, and threats affecting a company's products or services. Every PSIRT team and process is slightly different. At the organizations I've worked with, the PSIRT team has the first right of refusal on vulnerabilities reported internally or from the field. If a vulnerability is deemed to be severe enough, an incident will be opened and it will be managed through remediation by the PSIRT team. If the PSIRT team passes on the vulnerability, it is managed via the typical process by the vulnerability management team. At this point, everything we've talked about so far has been reactive. Continuing to react isn't sustainable for security teams. Let's take a look at the proactive side of product security. A large majority of products have a software component, so we can start there. Software security and design is the top-level category I like to use to wrap a number of various software security subdomains like threat modeling, API security, cryptography, identity and access management, build time protection, and secure coding. Each of these subdomains have subdomains of their own. Today, more and more applications are cloud-based applications, and this means that we are introducing a whole new domain that requires some security forethought, infrastructure security and design. There's certainly subdomain overlap between infrastructure and software, but the knowledge required is often related, but different. The subdomains that come to mind when I think about infrastructure security and design are networking, posture management, identity and access management, again, cryptography, protection, detection, and threat modeling, with each of these domains having subdomains of their own. The last couple of domains I would bucket in with product security are product management and sales enablement. Having a product manager that understands the ins and outs of security and can have conversations with customers or customer security teams about their requirements means you're likely building the right thing the first time. Sales enablement goes hand in hand with product management. Discussing security through a third party versus security person to security person makes a world of difference and ultimately reduces sales friction, allows you to get to outcomes more quickly. What you may end up with after mapping all of the domains of your product security program is something that looks similar to this. Each of the core categories we have discussed today: security testing and analysis, infrastructure security and design, software security and design, incident response, vulnerability management, sales enablement, and product management have all been broken out into subcomponents multiple levels deep in some cases, and with arrows between components in different domains. We've just scratched the surface of product security. It's a large security domain with many different components that could look different at every single company and for every single product. Stay tuned for more product security content.